I hope I haven't kind of over egged the pudding when I was saying I've just had this profound enlightenment.
Ooh, that sounds profound and enlightening.
It's profound and enlightening, and it's come from a quest that I've had, or a question I've had in my head, that when I was in my mid-20s, I was studying with the OU for a psychology degree, and I had two little boys at the time. I was a single parent, and life was busy. I had a lot to do. I also had a job that I had to fit my studies in around, but I was making it happen, totally making it happen. And I was comparing it to how much I have been struggling getting my coursework done for this hypnotherapy diploma, which is, academically less difficult, but in terms of my brain power, it seems to be, or has been, much more difficult. And I've been on a sort of like a little, just have this question in my head: what is it? Because I'm older, because it should be easier now. Now I'm, I have no children at home. My job feels lovely, and just it's all good. It's all good. But when I sit down to study, I find my head is just like bonkers a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I read this little book called The Dopamine Detox.
Oh.
It's on Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
And it's by, I don't even know how to pronounce this person. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. It's Thibaut, and Thibaut, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Thibaut, and his surname is Maurice, Meurisse. And I still don't understand very much about the neuroscience of dopamine. I need to sort of familiarize myself with that better. But when I was reading it, I understood why it is now important to stay away from my phone.
Okay.
As much as possible. I track my phone usage, and it varies between 1 and 3 hours a day. I'm on my phone, and I know it's not excessive use. Sometimes I'm using it for YouTube to watch things that are educational. Yeah. Sometimes I'm on Spotify or something like that, and so I discount a lot of that usage time, unless it's just like pure scrolling, which I've always known has been a problem with my head about this scrolling. And somehow neuroscience puts scrolling and dopamine together and makes yuck. Mm-hmm. I've yet to explain properly why, but the way one of the ways this guy phrased things, or this do you think it's a man or a woman with that name?
I think that's a male French name. Okay.
So let's call him a man. Very apologies if it's not. But he introduced this concept of open and closed systems that for me just felt like a complete revelation. Ooh. And he says things like social media sites, email, even YouTube are open systems. When you go into them, they're freaking endless, and you can be in them forever. Yeah, and it's all and we tend to want to spend more time in them because of the dopamine release. And when we try to do something a little bit boring afterwards, it's much harder, because we are still craving that dopamine. And things like writing essays don't give that.
No, they do not.
They do the opposite. They suck it out of you somehow. And I remembered that when I was studying with the OU when in the, I guess it was the like late 80s, early 90s. And in order to study with them, you had to tune into video, like TV programs. And if you couldn't be there, you had to set your video recorder to record them.
I just about remember those, yeah.
Yeah. And there was also radio programs that you had to tune into.
I didn't know there were radio programs.
Yeah. And there were books.
Yes.
Okay. So like a video and a radio program and a book, very closed system. You could open it, you could open them up. They have a beginning, middle, and an end. That's that. When I've been studying for my diploma, I've been on the internet and down all sorts of very, very open rabbit holes that go on forever. And obviously they create dopamine in some way, because I think, oh, that's interesting, that's good, that's brilliant, that's like, and I want to put it all into a essay, but when I come to do it, it's really, really hard. And he also gives the advice that do not go into an open system first thing in the morning. Do not open your emails up. Do not go on social media, because that will affect the dopamine levels in your brain that make doing hard things immediately afterwards really, really difficult.
That's really interesting. And I have noticed, because I don't go near my phone until lunchtime. And
Right.
since I started doing, so I've done that for the last couple of years. And since I started doing that, I have got so much better at doing things.
Amazing. Amazing. So you have already closed your systems in the morning?
I don't always manage it. I'm not like perfect, but yeah, more often than not, yes.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So that sort of like pretty much backs up what we're saying. Did you used to find it difficult if you were on your phone first thing in the morning?
Yeah, and also it would depress me. I would be sad. It would make me sad as well, because it's like it's weird. I'm gonna get this book because it sounds really interesting, and I didn't know about the neuroscience behind it. That was just something that I had done because I like intuitively thought it was bad. But it's just interesting that even though it gives you that dopamine hit, it also makes you feel like shit.
It does.
And it's so interesting, and it's I mean that's the foundations of addiction, right? It's like it makes you feel good in the moment, but in the long term it makes you feel like crap. Because I think if you talk to any like drug addict or alcoholic or something, you know, they will say similar. And so it's just really interesting. And it's like so insidious that social media is designed to do that to us. Like they've designed it to do that.
Oh, yes, bastards.
Yeah.
But they obviously know neuroscience better than I do. And they've because I've always known that being on your phone scrolling is a waste of time. And I thought that, you know, and I kind of understood dopamine fix, but I didn't really completely put the two together, in that you get the most dopamine from open systems.
Yeah, no, nor did I.
Yeah, and to me that concept has really helped me understand even more than ever why I need to stay away from my phone as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to demonize phones and everything that's on them, because there are some wonderful things you can do with a phone, but it's given me that sense of respect for when I open it up. I need to be very deliberate about what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that has felt like such an amazing thing that I want to share, because quite often being told to do something, being told, you know, stay off your phone, it's like I like to understand exactly why I need to stay off my phone, and not just because it's a waste of time, because I know that.
Because there needs to be a good reason for it. Because it's like that's another neurodivergent trait, you know, is like if there are good reasons for us to follow rules, we will follow them, and if there are not good reasons, we'll just do whatever the hell we want. And that's something that I've always found, because it's like I get absolutely enraged when people queue jump, because there's a good reason for having a queue. It's like, you know, otherwise it'd be chaos and punch-ups. But like for other arbitrary rules, I'm just like, oh, why is that a rule? That's a stupid rule. I'm not going to follow it.
Yeah, exactly. It's and you know, sometimes we even make up our own rules and don't give ourselves good enough reason to follow them, and therefore we disobey ourselves.
Exactly. And so like now you've uncovered the reason behind the no phones in the morning rule, and it makes perfect sense. And it's like, yeah, that's a, you know, that's a rule that we should follow because it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And you know what, I was really productive with my study over the weekend.
Oh, well done.
Really productive, because what I did was I chose very carefully where I was going to source my information from, mainly books. But if I was going to go on a video to watch something on YouTube, I'd make an absolute rule for myself that I would watch that one thing, make my notes, and then come off it again.
So how did you enforce that? Because I find that really difficult, because I'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to watch this thing. But then what will pop up is bloopers from Marvel movies, and I'm done. And like, I'm down a wormhole of bloopers because I find bloopers hilarious.
Okay. Maybe it is because I have been instilled by this great insight that at the moment is running hot in my system. That's like, yeah, I totally believe why I need to do this. Ask me again in a month's time and I might be, no, I'm shit, I'm back down rabbit holes again. Okay. That's possible.
Something's just occurred to me actually, because I do manage to not disappear down a wormhole first thing in the morning, because the first thing I do after I've like brushed my teeth is I come in here and I do my yoga, just like 15 minutes or so, and that's on YouTube. I've got I go to Yoga with Adrian on YouTube, because it's all of these free yogas, and she's lovely.
I've done some of that stuff. She's great.
Yeah, she's great. And so like I'll watch it, but I always put it on full screen, and so then it can't show you things in the sidebar, but I put it on full screen just so that I can see it properly when I'm doing the yoga. But then I was like, that's really interesting. When I'm watching YouTube videos, if I'm just sitting here and I'm like researching stuff, I don't have it on full screen, and I have it with like the sidebar bits that are always like popping up and going, oh, look at this. So maybe watching everything on full screen is the way to go, and then you can immediately escape out and close the tab.
Yes, that's a great idea. When I was speaking to Kevin about it, he said he gets very, very absorbed in YouTube since shorts have been on there.
Yes, yeah.
And he says, right, from now on, I'm going to watch YouTube on my laptop. So because, like you say, you can expand it and get rid of a lot of that noise that's going on around the thing.
Yeah, that's so interesting, isn't it?
It is. I feel very happy to have found this little nugget of information.
Well, I'm going to report back from the point of view of someone who doesn't have ADHD next week, because yesterday, while I was away for the afternoon, Joe dropped his phone in our septic tank.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
bad.
That's
totally gross. And he was like, he WhatsApped me from his laptop and was like, a terrible thing has happened. And I was like, oh, that is a terrible thing. And he's like, I had a rake around in the sludge at the bottom and I couldn't find it. And I was like, I think you should just leave it to die in there. Like I've dropped my phone in the lube in a clean toilet before and fished it out, and that's fine. But like, I think it should just stay in the septic tank in the sludge and rot down there, to be honest. Because
let it have it.
But like last night, because and like this is extremely hypocritical of me, but Joe spends a lot of time on his phone and it drives me up the wall. And it drives me up the wall primarily because I hate being on my phone and I drive myself up the wall. And you know what it's like when you see somebody doing something that you hate in yourself, it's amplified. And so I was just like, your phone is dead. You're not going to have a new phone for at least 2 days. And so I'm really looking forward to, and like last night he was just like there, we were like chilling on the sofa and he didn't have his phone in his hand, and I was like, yes. So I will report back and see how he feels from not having his phone available for a couple of days.
That'd be really interesting, because in the book, The Dopamine Detox, the guy recommends 48 hours without this overstimulation of stuff around you, and so he's going to have that. He's going to have this little dopamine detox unless he's finding it somewhere else. But he also says things like give up sugar and that kind of thing, to like really limit sugar and processed foods, because anything that triggers that dopamine.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of processed foods, but I do like my chocolate. So
yeah, I do.
I eat too much sugar, I think. But you know, the other thing, I'd forgotten about this. This is something that I did a while ago, and then I turned it off again, and I don't know why. I should probably turn it back on. But you can put your phone, if you go into the accessibility section, you can put your phone onto black and white.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes, it's less rewarding, isn't it?
Massively less appealing to like get on Instagram or Facebook or whatever your poison is, and because it's just boring, because it's like, oh, it's just you know, not as interesting. So yeah, a lot of the trigger is the bright colors.
Yes. Ooh, I might make a note of that, because there are various points in the day where I have to go on Facebook because I'm connected to groups that require me to respond.
Yes.
And it's like, damn it, why do you have to be on Facebook? Yeah. But that, to have it on black and white, it'd be very easy to read and respond and not get caught up in all the nonsense.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm thinking that I'm going to have to turn my thing back to black and white again, because my other thing with my phone is games.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gamer.
I go in fits and starts, so I get like really obsessed with like for about a month I was absolutely obsessed with this screw game, and you would have to like pull the screws out in the right order, so that it was kind of like reverse Jenga, I guess.
Okay.
Or like the pulley sticks thing where I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, so it's anyway stupid little game, and I got absolutely obsessed with it, and that would not have worked in black and white.
Kaplunk.
Yes, Kaplunk, that's it, yeah. But yeah, it would not have worked in black and white because the screws were like different colors and you had to pull the right screw out, and it was just a whole thing. And I got to the point where it was making me so stressed, and I was like, right, I'm going to delete it. And so I deleted it off my phone, and I instantly felt better, and it was like, oh, I don't need to play that anymore.
Wow. That's cool, but that's another. It's a dopamine thing, isn't it? You felt rewarded, and
yeah, but the weird thing is that I would feel rewarded for like a few minutes, but then I would get really anxious and stressed because I was like, this is such a waste of my life. Like, I could be reading a book. I love reading books. Why am I not reading a book? And I'm just like, screw. It's just
it's mad. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. He also talks about binge watching TV. We should be watching. I ignored that sentence.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, we only watch one, maximum of 2 shows in the evening, because we both do stuff in the evenings anyway, and so it's like we don't kind of, because I know that, and this is no judgment in this, I know that like quite a lot of people watch quite a lot of telly, which is fine, but they'll come in and they'll turn the telly on at like 5:30 when they get home, and it'll just stay on, and that's just not something that we do. So I feel like I don't have that issue, but like I do love binging. We're currently binging New Amsterdam on Netflix.
What's New Amsterdam?
Oh my god, it's a hospital drama and it's amazing.
Okay.
It's so good. It's very they are sometimes a little bit heavy-handed with the social justice messaging, but like it is amazing, and it just makes you feel so grateful to live in this country, because the American healthcare system is so much more horrific than you think it is.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like, yeah, but it's so good. It's really funny, and the characters are great, and it's all like the interpersonal relationships. Do you remember ER? Yeah, it's a little bit like that. It's like a modern version of that, I guess. And all of the characters like are feasibly good looking, and perfect, like amazingly talented, all of that kind of thing. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And do you know what? When you said about how you don't watch TV all day, and again, no judgment if people like doing that, then but I think one of the justifications for doing the binge watching is that I'm not watching TV all day. Generally, don't turn it on before like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Watch it for a couple of hours before bed, and then my brain's got time to recover.
Yes.
Before I start again the next day. It's not like I'm trying to binge watch TV and do my work.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just, and you know what? I get a lot of ideas from watching stuff on
Yeah.
on Netflix or Prime or wherever I'm kind of binging my stuff. I have a slightly related question. Do you like watching movies?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's really interesting because I kind of do like watching movies, but I find it really difficult to watch movies because I'm really annoying to watch movies with because I can't sit still through the whole thing. And so and I also talk through them as well. And then I'm like, oh, who's that? That person was in like one episode of Buffy for 10 minutes 20 years ago. And Joe's like, oh my God. Because I have to pause it and search for it. But like I really struggle like with Joe will be like, oh, do you want to watch a movie? And I'll be like, because the idea of watching a movie is like a long stretch, and yet I will binge watch 5 40-minute programs in a row.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, what's the difference? Like, a movie feels too big to watch, but like 5 40-minute episodes in a row
It
feels
seems manageable. You're kind of chunking your viewing because it's a bit like thinking of a big task, isn't it? You have to chunk it down. And so maybe series feels nicely chunked. But I do understand a lot of your pain with watching movies because Kev and I will quite often stop the film to find out that it's like, I know that face, where have I seen it before? And we will go and find out where it is, who it is. And
it's
also so it's funny, isn't it? But also I will find myself like not following films very well. I'll sit and watch it and think, I don't really understand what's happening a lot of the time, but I don't ask generally what's happening.
Oh, I do because and Joe will be like, well, if you were paying attention, you would know. And I was like, that is fair, but also, can you tell me?
yeah. And if characters, sorry,
oh my God,
if characters look too similar, I can't tell them apart.
Yes, and if there's background, like we watch everything with subtitles on because I struggle with like auditory processing anyway. So if there's like background noise and music in the film, and there's always music in TV shows and things, I just can't hear the dialogue. So so I've watched with subtitles for years and years and years now, and it's so much better, and it means that I can follow stuff better. So maybe try that.
Yes, although I actually get irritated by subtitles.
Oh, do you?
But I can't watch foreign films with subtitles because
that's really
listening to one thing and seeing another, I don't like. But maybe if I was watching subtitles on an English film, that might make sense and be okay for me.
Give it a go, because a lot of ADHD people that I've spoken to, it's just like, oh yeah, I watch TV with subtitles on as well, and I'm like, that's really interesting.
Ooh, okay, so there might be people watching that would find that really useful to be able to follow this. Yeah. It's a pity that the subtitles can't also give you like a running commentary of what is actually happening. And little recaps every 10 minutes. So it's like, remember that happened 10 minutes ago? Well, this is relevant now.
Yes, yeah. It's like, I've like had 53 thoughts since then. I can't remember what's happening. It's so fun. Like Joe keeps trying to get me to watch Lawrence of Arabia, and I'm like, absolutely not, because for one thing, it's 53 hours long, and I'm just like, no. And for another, he showed me a clip of it, and it's just like people staring into space and speaking like this, and I'm like, oh my God. And because I get really frustrated when I'm listening to people's conversations and they take ages to get to the point, because I'm like, I'm already 15 steps ahead of them, and I'm like, I know where this sentence is going. Will you just finish it? And I have that same problem with like watching really slow movies like that, because I'm just like, just get on with it. Like, this is boring. And I know there are going to be people watching who are like, that's Lawrence of Arabia, how dare you? And I don't care.
when you say Lawrence of Arabia, I remember watching it with my parents, and all I remember is like sandstorms and camels and nothing much happening.
Exactly. And it's like, that is the whole thing. It's just like him on a camel, or falling off a camel or a horse, or just standing staring into the distance, speaking very, very slowly. Oh my God, kill me now. And I could be like, I know that's a sacrilegious thing to say. I know it's considered like one of the great movies ever made, and I don't care. I was like, not for me.
So have you ever have you got a favorite movie? Is there something that you love?
I love 10 Things I Hate About You. It's like
Ooh,
such
okay.
great. It was a 90s teen movie. I guess you'd call it chick flick, but it was well ahead of its time. It's got a really feminist message, and it's based on The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare.
Okay.
Absolutely hilarious. Just really, really great. I love, what else do I love? I love Amelie.
Oh, right,
French
yeah.
film, one of my
Oh.
favorite films ever.
Mhm.
Finding Nemo, The Little Mermaid. And
You so
really,
relate to Dory.
and really randomly, The Day After Tomorrow, which just makes Joe laugh so much. That disaster movie.
That's brilliant.
And then this couple, like I love A Knight's Tale as well. I'm not very highbrow when it comes to movies.
No, but is there a common thread in all those that makes you think that's why I enjoy them?
I like fantasy. Oh, and The Lord of the Rings. I just love fantasy stuff. I love like fantasy stuff. Take your brain out. Like if I'm watching a movie, I want to be able to take my brain. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy more thinky films. I do. Like I do, but they're not my kind of go back to comfort movies.
Right. Okay.
How about you?
Okay. Oh, my favorite film has always been Con Air for some reason.
You see, just stupid, absolute brainless nonsense.
It's the only film I've been able to watch over and over and over.
That's so funny. I don't understand that from like that particular point of view, but I do understand it from like the genre of this is a stupid film and I can watch it over and over again.
It's just bonkers, isn't it? It's like, oh, Con Air, yeah, I can watch that.
That's so funny. Oh, that's tickled me. And Nicolas Cage is great. So it is Nick Cage, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. He's just brilliant. But
yeah.
Do
you know what you might enjoy for kind of the similar reason? Because I've only actually seen it once, but I could absolutely watch it over and over again. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is also like it's Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, and I love Pedro. I love both of them so much. Love Pedro Pascal, and it's kind of Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, but a fictionalized version of himself. It's really stupid.
Brilliant. I will watch that. Is it on Netflix or something?
I don't know. It was a while ago. I don't know if it still is.
Well, I will definitely have a look for that.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Well, if anybody who is watching this has their own favourite movie to comment on, then please do, because we're always open to suggestions, aren't we?
Yes, and if you are thinking that your favorite movie is not highbrow enough, then hopefully this has made you feel better about that, because
absolutely. So yeah, 90s chick flicks, animations, and Nick Cage films.
And stupid disaster films. Yeah.
Stupid disaster films. I love that. It makes me want to go and watch them all over again.
I know. It's really miserable day today as well. And I'm like, oh, how quickly can I get all my stuff done and then go and watch a movie? Actually, maybe that would be my reward. Like, I'm going to try and get all my stuff done today and then go and watch a movie.
That's a really good idea. I might be in with you on that one.
Also, I know we have to go, but like one of the things that I've decided to do is once a month go to the cinema in the afternoon on my own.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, a cinema date, a solo artist date to the cinema. Love that. Yes. That's a really good idea. I've thought about doing that as well, and I can imagine the puppy dog eyes Kev is going to give me. Like, you're going without me.
He can go on his own too if he wants to. You could go and sit at opposite ends of the cinema.
We could actually, couldn't we? Brilliant. Good idea. Yeah. So yeah, reward yourself today, Vix.
Yeah, you do it too.
Thank you. I might just dig out a Con Air.
Yeah. And next week we can talk about what I did on Sunday, which was a beginner's improv comedy course.
We have to remember that, because I feel like I've just hijacked the whole of this conversation.
No. I loved this conversation and I totally forgotten what I did at the weekend anyway. So I'm going to put it in next week's thingy notes.
Excellent.
Beginner improv course. There we go. It's in there.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to hearing all about that.
Yeah.
And also, we need an update on
Joe's poo phone.
I'm blank. Yes, Joe's poo phone. Joe's poo phone update. Excellent. Well, lovely to talk to you as ever. And I'll catch up with you next week.
Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye.